the 49th instalment in the What Caught My Eye series. In this edition, I'll be focusing on the sad passing of James Whale, not his real name, he used a second name differently, after he died this morning at the age of 74 in a hospice after a long cancer battle. He had a 5-year career, 50 years, and he's never one of those presenters and I've now gone, And I think initially he didn't want to go to a hospice. He didn't want to go there. I don't know. I don't think he had his dogs. I don't think dogs allowed there. But he ruled with an iron fist. He was a character. He shot from the hip. He wasn't afraid to say what he felt, even though it was all an act. He admitted it himself. That when the cameras come on, he owns it, and he's different. So it's not like that in real life. It's just there's a persona that is in front of him. I think the first time that I heard about James Whale was probably when he was on this morning, when he was talking to a Muslim woman. They were talking about the Pan Am and the Facebook, the photo box of the photos, and and then he also went in the Big Brother house in 2016. He had a TV show in the 80s. He worked for Talk TV. He was at LBC as well for a while. And then he had a sabbatical because he said some controversial comments about sort of woman who was hard, and he got kicked off for those comments. But you could say he was like, Mike Baldwin, what he used to do in recent years to people in the back going, "You're sacked." You know what I mean? That sort of thing. What Mike Baldwin used to do in Corrie. And I think the James' legacy will be he ruled with an iron fist. I didn't like his comments during the COVID catastrophe. I thought it was absolutely disgraceful, some of his comments. Using the term anti-vax, which doesn't mean anything, by the way. And that was actually Boris Johnson who said that when he was doing his dressing up box in the hospital, where he used that term. So James nicked it off him and used it, and he could say as well he was the first Simon Cowell. I think he did a show for Sky where he tried to be the Mr. Nasty. So James said that that Simon Cowell's inspiration was from him, but actually it wasn't Simon on Pop Idol. Actually, by the way, it was actually Pete Waterman. He was the one on Pop Idol that he was going to be the nasty character, the nasty person on the panel, and not Simon. That was what it was. But James had a fantastic career. Went to a hospice. He lost his wife. He married someone else, and he's got all the history, and as sad as it is, the important fact that people need to understand is that he's got loads of shows. The memories his former colleagues will have the memories. They'll have all the content, pictures, the photos, the videos, and all that. So he won't be missed. He won't be missed in that sense. He'll just he'll be remembered, and he was on those shows on Channel 5 with talking about things. So he'll never leave. He'll never leave. His work will still be there. So it is sad, but he's got a legacy and he's got the history, and that's very important. And I thought it was absolutely disgraceful from that. Was that Bashir, another Muslim, You know, her comments were absolutely disgusting on Twitter. But I did call out James what he said, because I thought his comments were disgraceful. But that Bash's comments were sick and twisted, and there was no need for it. No, who is she anyway? You know what I mean? She's another one of these this grifters. Oh, I'm a nobody, but see me, lads. I tell you something, love, right? That James, James Whale, right? He is worth 10 of you, right? He's got a backlog as long as my arm. You haven't got a bloody backlog at all. What you've got is hate and near. At least we knew what James symbolised, and what a great, you know, pioneer he was. So for that woman to say what she did is definitely shot of a disgrace, and I hope Elon Musk kicks her off Twitter, of X. There's no need for that kind of bloody language. You know, I had my issues with James and my comment that I made, but I would never say anything like that. I would never criticise the dead. I would never do that, because you should never do that, because, you know, and putting the fingers back in one direction, it may come back at you. So you've got to be very careful of that. So that's disgraceful from her to say that. Who is she anyway? I mean, you know what I mean? Go fuck off, piss off home where you come from. You're not even British anyway, are you? She's not even fucking British. Anyway. But yeah, disgraceful comments. But, you know, James will be missed. You know, but that's the tenors of time. That he has, and I'm sure you know, he's, you know, his death will be mourned. But again, there's loads of footage. But, you know, I used to watch, you know, loads of radio. You know, I potentially wanted to work in radio back in 2003, and I thought, but then I was told, oh, you got to, you know, you have to make the food, the tea, the coffee, and that sort of thing. You know, so you can't go first into it, even though James was there. But you know, Michael Parkinson, you know, he was only about 34 years of age when he first started on as a presenter. So so James Grant is gone, but you know, he'll be remembered, and he's got all those memories. At least you've got memories, and he's got all the photos, as I said before, the videos and all that, so you can always reflect on James. You can always watch his work and go, you remember when he said this, when he did that. So he'll always be in your heart, and he'll always be there. You know. So yeah. So I want to praise James despite the COVID thing, but other than that, you know, if you're going to ever be a presenter, I suppose he is the cornerstone. He is the person that you can rely on, and look at what he did and go, do you know what? Maybe I can not be him, but imitate him and emulate him and make him, you know, get the evidence that he's got. So it's a very, very sad day. But as time's a great healer, he has got, you know, the memories. You can watch, you know. So hopefully ITV do a documentary in the coming weeks. They should do that. So hopefully, if ITV are watching this, or Talk TV are trying to put it forward as an argument, contact ITV to get James Whale to get his show. That's what I would say to them.